Hey there, history enthusiast. Let's talk about one of Japan's most iconic figures, a man who embodied the spirit of the samurai in an era when their time was fading into history. Meet Saigō Takamori, often called the last true samurai. Whether you're fascinated by warrior codes, political intrigue, or tales of loyalty and rebellion, Saigō's story is one that will stick with you long after you hear it. So grab a cup of tea, or sake if you're feeling bold, settle in, and let's dive into the life of this legendary figure. First things first, who exactly was Saigō Takamori? Born in 1828 in Kagoshima, Japan, Saigō came from a modest samurai family during a time of immense change. He grew up in the waning years of feudal Japan, when the Tokugawa Shogunate still ruled, but cracks were beginning to show in its centuries-old system. By the mid-19th century, pressure from Western powers, especially after Commodore Perry's arrival in 1853, forced Japan to reconsider its isolationist policies. For Saigō, this period marked the beginning of a tumultuous journey that would see him rise as both a reformer and a rebel. Tall, charismatic, and deeply principled, Saigō became a key player in overthrowing the Tokugawa Shogunate and restoring imperial rule under Emperor Meiji. But here's the twist. Despite helping usher in modernization, he ultimately opposed many of the reforms that followed, leading to his tragic downfall. Saigō didn't start out as a revolutionary. He began as a loyal servant of his domain, Satsuma, modern-day Kagoshima. Known for his integrity and leadership, he quickly gained respect among his peers. When Japan faced internal strife over how to deal with foreign threats, Saigō aligned himself with those seeking to restore the emperor's authority, a movement known as the Meiji Restoration. Saigō played a critical role in uniting rival clans like Satsuma and Choshu against the shogunate. His ability to bridge divides made him indispensable. During the Boshin War, 1868-1869, which pitted pro-imperial forces against the shogunate, Saigō led troops to victory in decisive battles, cementing his reputation as a brilliant strategist. After the Meiji Restoration, Saigō served in the new government, advocating for policies to empower former samurai and rural communities. For a while, it seemed like Saigō had achieved everything he'd fought for: a stronger, unified Japan under imperial rule. But then came the hard part. As Japan embraced rapid modernization, traditional values, including those of the samurai class, were increasingly sidelined. The Meiji government abolished the samurai's privileges, such as carrying swords and receiving stipends, replacing them with conscript armies and centralized bureaucracy. While these changes strengthened Japan on the global stage, they alienated many samurai who felt betrayed by the very leaders they'd supported. Saigō found himself caught between two worlds. On one hand, he believed in progress and national strength. On the other, he couldn't abandon the samurai ethos he cherished. This inner conflict eventually drove him to take drastic action. In 1877, Saigō led what became known as the Satsuma Rebellion, rallying disaffected samurai in a desperate bid to challenge the Meiji government. Armed with traditional weapons like katanas alongside rifles, his forces fought valiantly, but were no match for the modernized imperial army. The rebellion culminated in the Battle of Shiroyama, where Saigō and his remaining followers made a final stand. Outnumbered and outgunned, Saigō was mortally wounded. According to legend, he committed seppuku, ritual suicide, to die with honor, a fitting end for someone so deeply tied to the samurai code. Though the rebellion failed, Saigō's courage and determination left an indelible mark on Japanese history. Even today, he's remembered not just as a warrior, but as a symbol of resistance against injustice and cultural erasure. So, why does Saigō continue to captivate us more than a century later? Here are a few reasons. Saigō's story highlights the tension between tradition and modernity, a theme that resonates across cultures and generations. How do we balance preserving our heritage with embracing change? Saigō grappled with this question, and his struggles remind us that progress often comes at a cost. Unlike some historical figures who sought power for its own sake, Saigō acted out of duty and conviction. Even when he rebelled against the government he helped create, he did so because he believed it had strayed from its original ideals. His willingness to stand by his principles, even at great personal risk, is deeply inspiring. If you've seen movies like The Last Samurai, 2003, starring Tom Cruise, you've already encountered Saigō's legacy. While the film takes creative liberties, its portrayal of a noble warrior caught between old and new worlds owes much to Saigō's real-life story. He remains a favorite subject in literature, art, and media, ensuring his memory lives on. Saigō Takamori wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, faced setbacks, and ultimately met a tragic end. Yet his life offers valuable lessons for all of us. Stay true to your principles. Even when the world changes around you, staying grounded in your beliefs can give your life meaning. Embrace complexity. Saigō understood that people and situations are rarely black and white. His ability to navigate gray areas made him a remarkable leader. Know when to fight and when to let go. Sometimes, standing up for what you believe in means accepting defeat with dignity. Saigō's final act of seppuku was as much about preserving honor as it was about acknowledging reality. Saigō Takamori wasn't just a samurai. He was a man who lived through one of Japan's most transformative periods and left an enduring impact on its identity. His story reminds us that heroes aren't defined by perfection. They're defined by their humanity, their struggles, and their unwavering commitment to what they hold dear. So next time you think about the clash between tradition and progress, remember Saigō. He may have been the last true samurai, but his legacy continues to inspire anyone striving to find balance in a rapidly changing world. Stay curious, and maybe channel a little Saigō-style determination in your own challenges. Who knows? You might just leave behind a legacy of your own. Do you think Saigō was right to rebel against the Meiji government, or should he have accepted the changes peacefully? How do you think Japan's history might have been different if Saigō had succeeded in his rebellion? What aspects of Saigō's character do you admire most, and why? Let's keep the conversation going, because history is always better when we share it together.